Greetings and welcome to the Dr. J Vlog series. It's Thursday, June 18th, 2026. And the issue today is the way to live forever. So do you want to live forever? In some sense, or in a literal sense, or in every sense? Well, whatever that might mean, here's how you can do that. And I'm not even going to waste your time with some grandiose stories or parables or a slow and steady buildup. So instead, for once, I'll cut right to the chase. If you want to live, or I will say, if you want to exist forever, then give yourself away. If I could only share one message in my lifetime, then that would be it. Not to insist, and certainly not to command, but rather to recommend that if you should aspire to want to live or exist forever, then give yourself away. So that notion, that statement actually appears quite often, for example, in the synoptic gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and attributed to Jesus. In effect, it's this, that if you hold on to your life, you will certainly lose it. But if you give your life away, then it becomes everlasting life. And here's the key insight that I learned from the late Father Michael Himes, whom I had the pleasure of meeting in person and listening to one of his lectures exactly a decade ago in June of 2016 at Boston College. So Father Himes makes the point that Jesus wasn't preaching the idea of giving yourself away as a commandment, but rather he was describing a kind of empirical reality about the nature of existence. That is to say, then, that if we grip and cling more tightly than ever, then the more likely it is, and more certainly, that we're going to eventually lose that which we are clutching so tenaciously in the first place. But if you give it away, in contrast, you can never run out of it. You can never lose it. You've already given it away. Rather, that which you give away becomes then everlasting. It's part of the grander scheme of things, the broader universe. And metaphorically, it's really true of just about anything, if you think about it. If you give your money away, you know someone else receives those resources and then lives on, hopefully in a better way, or in some way, too, as a result of your generosity. You share your happiness with the world, and that cannot be destroyed. You give your love away, and it lives on in all that you've touched. And you become eternal, everlasting. And what I learned very specifically then from Father Himes is that the deep truth is about reality would be that being and giving oneself away are actually and precisely the same thing. He argues that, quote, the reason anything exists at all is self-gift, is love, is the gift of the self to another, end quote. And I think that's the key message for all of us, no matter who we are, no matter where we were born, the language we've been given, the historical period into which we might live. And the essence of our existence is at the core. It's our ability then to give ourselves away. And there's a profundity there that almost exceeds human understanding, or at least my limited capacity. So I can't speak for anyone else. But this really means that the first step, or the precondition to truly, genuinely knowing anything or anyone, requires that we love that thing or person. And the loving reflects a verb. It's the activity of giving yourself and committing yourself to that thing or person. If I love playing the piano, I give myself over to that endeavor. If I love teaching, I commit to that activity, and I spend my time ultimately giving away the knowledge and wisdom I've accumulated. If I love somebody, I give myself to that person. Just as the parents must give away their children to whatever life holds in store, if they truly love them. or the parents give them away as they move out of the house or into their marriages, etc. A loving parent always gives away their children by loving them unconditionally and letting them go wherever life might lead. And if they've given their children their love, their children always carry that forward. And again, that's true of anything to which or to whom we give our love. By the way, that's kind of the solace that I take when I look back upon or think about my own flawed and imperfect parenting. I always loved my two boys from my first lovely wife, Kathy. And then I loved the three beautiful boys that I inherited from my second and final wife, Farnaz. And so the one thing that I know with certainty is that those 5 children, those 5 boys who are, by the way, age 30 to 37 as of July, they carry that love with them and in their hearts. And Kathy and I and Farnaz and I have continued to give them our parental love unconditionally. And by giving our love away, those 5 young men, whatever their flaws or imperfections, whatever they might be, they will always have and carry with them in their hearts love, right? And hopefully love from many other sources too, but you get the point. So finally, I'd ask you to think again about what I've shared in recent vlogs, or at least from the in the past week, about sharing your creative gifts. That's where your deepest love resides. And that's why I encourage everyone to identify and share their creative gifts, whatever those might be. If you truly hope to know and understand and ultimately create, then you have to give yourself away to that which really matters. You have to invest your time and energy and intelligence and emotional support and so on. You must give whatever it is you care about a certain intensity of focus and attention before you can actually produce any real fruit or positive outcomes. And thus I conclude that as you share your creative gifts, you give away yourself and you give away your love. And that's the true essence of your being, in my view. And when you share that with others, when you give yourself away, when you engage in loving kindness, you reap the benefits of everlasting life. When you are creating, you are loving, and you are living to the fullest, both in the moment and for all eternity. And my goodness, who doesn't want that? And besides, what's the alternative to creating and loving? Hating? Clinging to money or territory? Destroying? And then dying? No thanks. I'd rather create. I'd rather give myself away. I'd rather laugh, love, live, and live on. And I wish that for you and yours as well. And with love and gratitude, I'm Dr. J.